Well, good day everybody. I don't think I need to even give an introduction on this. If you know 88 and you know the colour of the boat and all the rest of it, you know it's Captain Coconut in his LELLO 34. So this is going to be a technical run through. It's not live. This is a recording, but we're going to run it live. We've got too many happening at the last minute, but it's now Friday afternoon here on the marina. And things are happening, so we'll get this up as soon as we can. It might be a few days, but it's a great story. Basically, Captain Coconut was the last of the entrants to sign up for the 2018 edition of the race. He heard about the race, and 5 days later he'd bought a boat and put in an entry from Adelaide in South Australia, and he was in. And he competed in the race, retired into Adelaide halfway round with barnacles and no water, and stayed there, and then eventually 3 years later, or 2.5 years later, set off in December the 5th last year, sailed solo non-stop here to Les Sables d'Olonne, and he's back in the hunt with the 22 edition of the race. So this will be so he did a one-stop circumnavigation. This will be his second GGR, and he's even now talking about 2026. He loves it. He just enjoys. This is his new life. Loves his little boat, and he had quite a lot of work to do when he got here. He had to put a new engine in and fix up some of the deck gear and sort out the sails. The mast is still the same. The mast was done in Adelaide, before the last edition in 2018. It's still super strong, and the boat's looking very good. So all kind of cool. So it's LELLO 34, built in South Africa. It was in Adelaide at the time. He decided to join the race and bought it straight away. It was for sale. One profile reefing gear on the outer, and he's got his second profile gear on the staysail. So it's all reefing stuff, and then he can set spinnakers and so on. The rig is very strong. It's two-spreader rig. There's not much more I can tell you about it. It's got steps going up the mast, so he can get up and down pretty easy. That's really about it. Everything's very standard on Coconut. He's got a huge rail, solid stainless steel rail, waist height all the way around the boat, netting up the front, so he doesn't lose things, and everything's super sized. He's got copper coat anti-fouling on the boat. He seems to be pretty happy with that, and you can see two spinnaker poles again. Two spinnaker poles. Got Plastimo life raft up forward. We don't recommend that, but that's up to Mark once he's done his safety, so that's his choice. Sometimes there's an issue of things getting washed off the bow, but he hasn't lost it yet, and he's been through some severe storms in the Southern Ocean. Around in Cape Horn he had 4 in quick succession. All Mark's lines come back to the cockpit. Very easy to see all that. It's like a spaghetti factory. It's running over the top of his solar panels, which actually cut back the efficiency dramatically. It's not just the shadow area that you lose, but the power on a solar panel goes around in like a daisy chain, like a snake, one to the other, and every time you have a shadow, the power has to push through that shadow. So some people think, if you lose 10% in shadow, you only lost 10% of your power. Quite the reverse. If you lose 10% going across the panels, you actually could lose up to 40-50% of your power output. So it's more than just a shadow. He's got a solid fixed vang. It's bode well so far. He's got a boom brake under there. I'm not sure what brand that is. It's a Fleming. Oh, that's an old one. That's Kevin Fleming, who used to make the Fleming wind vanes, but he's now sold that on a long time ago. He's a mate of mine, going back a long time. He sometimes follow the race, so good day, Kevin, if you're watching. The rig is solid. It's been there, done that. He's using the same mainsail. Sails are interesting, and just on that subject, Tapio is behind us here. We haven't done a technical on his boat yet. He's using exactly the same sails that he used in 2018, same mainsail. It'll go around a second time, and sails these days are pretty good, so all okay there. Of interest on the floor here, on the ground here, if I can get to it, is a pair of crutches, okay? And over here we have Captain Coconut sitting back in his chair, relaxing, while his friends actually prepare the boat, because he fell off his bike. He went through, hit a bollard on his bike coming home one night. He said he wasn't drinking, and ran straight down the rock wall, ended up upside down on his back, and he's been out of action for about 3 days. Couldn't do anything, and now he's recovering. By start day he'll be okay, but he's been taking it easy, and the crew have been preparing the boat. So anyway, all good. So coming down to the cockpit, there is a fascinating situation here. Mark has 2 rudders. So you'll see there you've got the tiller, the big stainless steel tiller there, which steers the main ship's rudder. And then on the back of the boat, The tiller's not in, but you'll see there's a big white rudder. Okay, that's the emergency rudder, but rather than carry it down below, he actually leaves it on the back of the boat, and he actually uses it. He'll put the tiller in when that hatch is down, that lazarette hatch. He shuts that, puts the tiller in. He's running 2 tillers then, 2 rudders, and he actually connects the Aries wind vane to both rudders. It's quite amazing, because the original design rudder is way under the boat. It's not far, it is back a little bit from the centre line of the boat, but it's not as efficient as it could be running through the Southern Ocean. So Mark finds the great success by actually using both rudders. That's a 50-year-old Aries wind vane, still going strong. A servo pendulum system. It's just had a complete rebuild up in the factory. New bevel gears and new bearings and bits and pieces. So let's just say the castings are 50 years old, but everything else has been renewed. He's just got it back from that rebuild. He didn't have it for the prologue, so he had to use sheet to tiller steering. Some of you may have seen that, and it's a good skill to have. So if something actually went wrong with your wind vane, you can actually steer the boat sheet to tiller like Slocum used to do back in the good old days, and many others. But Mark's a bit of an expert on that now, so he must be feeling good about that. Nothing complicated at the back. You'll see the brackets there in the quarters for the Walker towing log. No wind generators, no water generators. He's just got solar panels, so it's going to be interesting to see how he goes with power this time around, because there's a 2-hour time penalty for every litre of fuel that you use with the engine. He's just installed a brand new engine. He's having trouble with the last ones, and it was not so efficient. So there's a bucket there. I'm not sure whether he's a bucket and chuck it or whether he's got a dunny on board. But anyway, twin main sheet systems there, so there's no main sheet traveller. You can disconnect one or use both of them. He's got non-self-tailing winches there. They're the original winches. This was a sort of a budget boat, but it still costs a bit of money to prepare everything. And all the lines are coming in underneath that little Dodger there. And he's got a great system. You'll see here those boards just at the back of the companionway. That's actually his seat. He's got big cushions that he puts in there, and he sits in that sort of external bit for most of the time, and these clear covers go on the outside of that, so he can sit there. He can still reach the tiller. He's got quite a little command centre there where he just sits there and listens to music in his cassette player, and life goes by as he's sailing around the world. So it's pretty cool. I wouldn't suggest for a minute that Mark is racing. He's in the race, but as he said, the race was a call to action to get in and do the circumnavigation. And he did a one-stop. Now he wants to go all the way around. Amazing effort, to do all this stuff, because when he arrived, we thought he'd be psyched out because he'd done another 150 days solo, and it was only 2 months before the start of the GGR 22. But he's done it, and he's all psyched, and he's very happy. I'm going to try and get him on board in a minute, but I might climb over first. Very civilised, this boat. It has a gate here you can just walk through. It's a gentleman's yacht, I can just come straight through here. Can I get on board, Captain Coconut? Oh, beautiful. Okay, I'm on board without you, but we'll talk about the bits here. I'll get in position. Okay. Yep. I want you to show us your command module first. Right. Okay. How this works. Hang on, I've got to get the gimbal around. So I see. Before that, are you recovered from your injuries?
Look, partly. I'm mobile. I'm not wearing a brace at the moment. Yeah. But if you look at these 2 legs,
jeepers,
you can see it's still quite fat here.
Yeah.
And that leg is just quite a bit bigger than this leg.
Yeah.
So I've still got a fair bit of swelling.
Yeah.
The doctors have looked at it and they're fine. And I'm generally wearing a compression bandage, but I've got it off today, and I've got the brace off because Miriam was keen for me to strengthen it.
Yeah.
So I've got to be a bit careful, but we're trying to build it back up to get some strength.
Okay, well, take your time. Don't bugger it up while I'm here. Don't blame me, okay? This is very relevant. Okay, so how about you set up your command module, and I'll try. Well, because it's so relevant. You're the only one with anything like this. It's really cool.
So what we have is this little cushion here has been around the world, and it's a coconut cushion, and it should have coconut on it because it's a bit of floating stuff, as we have to do in the race rules. Yeah. So there we have it. So that sits in here, because Captain Coconut likes to be comfortable. And then we've got a couple of these here, so I can set it up nicely, like that.
Yeah.
And then I just
watch your
in
leg
here, like this. And
That's
this
it.
is where I sit.
Yeah.
And I drive it from here. So we've got some mess here at the moment, but all my clutches are here. My winches are here. My headsail sheet is
repositioning. Here. Yeah, so you can reach everything.
I can reach everything. And the Aries, I have a line here so I can adjust the vane from here.
Yeah.
In heavy weather, up comes the flap.
Yeah.
So if we're filling the cockpit regularly, this comes up and it just provides a slightly higher level. You know, you might say, oh, it's not that watertight. Well, we just don't want water slopping down. So it provides a bit of thing. And then if there's a lot of spray, we drop down this and zip him.
I gotta get you.
Okay. Testing. And we just zip it down right like that. So it provides some cover from spray from the weather side. I can do both sides down as well. The oh, there we go. I'll just roll him back up. But one little thing that you have to be really careful of in the Southern Ocean is this boat is actually quite airtight.
Yeah.
And I've got a hatch up forward that can be open, partly open or closed.
Yeah.
Quite often it's closed in heavy weather. I've also got a watertight door that can be closed.
Yeah.
If this is all zipped down,
Yeah.
the boat's quite airtight, and when you use the stove, there's a risk. And I've got a carbon monoxide detector, and it did go off on 2 occasions in the Southern Ocean.
Yeah.
And it screams its head off, and I thought, oh shit! No, yeah. I turned the stove off and I opened this and got a bit of ventilation.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a risk that I wasn't appreciating, but I'm really glad I've got the carbon monoxide detector.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's quite a cutty there, eh? So you've got just winches and the other bits and pieces.
So I'll just move these a little bit. Excuse me. So you can see I've got 3, 4, 5, 7 clutches here, and the same on the other side. So it's sort of a mirror, but we've got spinnaker halyard, headsail halyard, staysail halyard, mainsail halyard, first reef on the main.
Where do you put your cup of tea?
Well, it tends to get wedged down here because I'm drinking cups of tea all the time. But when I ever make a cup of tea, I always make a flask.
Yeah.
So I boil up a litre, have a cup now, and then it gives you enough that you can have another cup in 15 minutes and half an hour.
Yeah.
So if you it means you can be continuously, I'm chain drinking tea around the world, and that's probably why I ran out of water.
That makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to try and follow you down below.
Okay,
I got to get up here.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll move this back here because we just got some personal effects here from the guys, and we've got Phil below, and Phil and I both joined the Navy on the 17th of January 1977, and we've also got Simon as well. So the three of us are all classmates from way back.
So he's going to go around with you?
Yeah, we'll stow him away. He's a really useful guy to have on board.
Okay, I'm going to tread on your cushions. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. That's what they're there for.
Holy dooly, this is coming down into the bowels of the boat.
Of coconut.
Okay, I've got to make sure the gimbal's not hooked up. Hang on.
Just starting to get some organisation.
Yep. Okay.
And Phil's moved some
Oh,
stuff.
by the way, I'm sitting in the command module. It's very cool, eh?
Hey,
it's a really good system.
Yeah,
very cool.
It's quite comfy, and I can.
Look, I would copy that if I was doing any sort of boat here, because you tend to sit here a lot.
I spend
a
all
couple
my
of them have
time
got
there.
seats. Even on a Mini, I've got a similar seat in a similar spot. But having these boards around your back that sort of act like a breakwater is really quite cool.
Well, it means if the cockpit gets flooded, and what it means is I very, very rarely close my main hatch. Just this and the Dodger, and occasionally a big wave may hit and break through the Dodger and bust the zips open, but it's very rare. And what I've also got, and it's not here at the moment, I hang a screen down here, right, just to keep the water out of that area, because it's just a bit of spray that comes in. Yeah,
too true. Now listen, I got to say, while you've been lucking it in the chair on the marina, I've been watching your crew. You are very lucky they're here after your little accident. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. Look, I've had Phil, Simon, Rian, who's my manager. So Rian comes from South Africa, and he's also got a LELLO. And Rian came out in Pippin with Rudolph Brits and another Brits, Johan Brits, I think. And the three of them are LELLO owners. And they came out when I went past Cape Town. But Rian is refitting his LELLO and finding out about the race, so you can draw your own conclusion.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, I just, I've been watching your crew. They've been just awesome. You couldn't move, and they've been completely stripping, cleaning, sorting, stacking, and so now you've got a huge problem, and you know what it is?
Where is everything? Oh,
That's
I'm
all I
going
kept
to
thinking.
sail. I'm going to starve because I'm going to go. Where's all the food gone?
I'm sure they've stacked stuff somewhere. In terms
it
of
is.
there'll be little surprises pop up all over the place.
I've said to Phil, if you can stack it, that's great. If there's some system behind it, that would even be better. But also, I've got to say, we've also had a lot of local help.
Yeah.
Jackie and Simon Challoner,
Yeah.
who live locally, who have been doing everything, and I've also had a heap of help from the Alonis Dinghy group. Particularly Allard.
Yeah.
But also I've had a house to live in. Virtue of the of Jean Pierre and Lawrence from the Alonis thing. So I've been really well looked after.
Yep. Perfect. So quick scan of the galley here.
Okay, so sorry, we just got a bit of crap here.
Well, no, we're always into the sink. Yours is unavailable. We say solo sailors sink. What's happening? You can't even get to it.
That's right. But what I have is a couple of tubs.
Yeah.
So I tend to have my dirty dishes and clean dishes in these little tubs, which is a good way to manage it. So I don't actually use the sink.
Yeah.
We've just replaced the pump here.
Yeah.
So the old one had a lot of algae and shit in it. So it's that's clean there.
What's down the back here? So there's nothing.
Oh, we've got
just storage lockers.
down there. We've got 40 litres of methylated spirits.
Okay.
So this is a metho stove.
Yep.
And we've just filled him up here.
Yep.
And what's the metho called here, Phil?
Oh,
Alcohol.
Alcool de brûlée.
Alcohol de brulee. I like cream brulee, but I haven't tried an alcohol brulee.
Okay, here's a little bit. We'll mount this. This is our ceremony, the ribbon from the opening ceremony.
Oh, geez, I've got a bit for everyone else as well.
Yeah.
They're in the office. I've got to give them. You'll get them tonight, but you've got an advance copy.
That's right. So we're going to mount that.
Yeah.
And also here, this is really good. This was a little poem.
From the kids at the club.
Hihon.
Yeah.
Smell the sea and feel the sky. Let your sail and spirit fly.
Cool. Yeah.
Pretty nice.
That makes sense.
So that's
Hihon was pretty cool, eh?
Oh,
really
Hihon
good.
was fantastic.
Yeah.
So here's
Sheepers. So where are you going to fit?
No, I
Crikey.
sleep here. All this crap comes over here.
Yeah.
But under here, you can see we've got things like all stuff in containers here.
Yeah.
Sextant, all bits and bobs. Around there. All electrical gear here. Tape, RDFs in there. This is just full of electrical.
Pretty much
sods.
like the space shuttle, eh?
Electrical stuff. Everything you need. Spare carbon monoxide detector. Now, this is very important. This is a very special grab bag because what happened last time, I lost my music. So I've got a new cassette player, but I've got a spare.
Oh, jeepers. That's cool.
So when I go to the life raft,
Yeah.
I can actually take, and I've got 2-minute work tapes as well.
Yeah,
So I've got
okay.
redundancy.
That's cool.
So-
You know, we had to buy the rights for Men at Work,
And
but they cut us a deal. Sony cut us a deal, which is really cool.
But-
It cost us $12,000 to buy that because of your bloody tape player in the film. Right? It was unbelievable. But anyway, they cut us a deal. They did it for a lot less than that. So thank you, Sony. You've been fantastic supporting the film.
Oh,
what did you
sorry,
think of the
Phil.
film? What did you think of the film?
Oh, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It was it was a really complex thing to weave all those stories together. And I thought the way they did it around the organisation of the race, which was a common thread that ran through it, and then they had all the things, and then the way it ran. But it was brilliant. And I've just heard so many people that were really thrilled, and it needs to be picked up by National Geographic or one of those things, or Netflix, or
I agree. We should
whatever.
demand they do that. Yes, I like that. That's a good suggestion.
Well,
Yes.
it's all-
Ooh, wow. Yeah, cool.
Well, it's all word of mouth, and I really I look forward to it coming out.
No, it's cool. Okay, so that's all gear. There's
So
the
under here
very
we've got-
organised, systematic storage of cans. Okay, so just chuck them in there
Chuck 'em in
and
there.
mix them up so you never get bored with the same one.
So
Yes.
there we go.
I've got to say that the French food in cans is unbelievable, eh?
Yeah,
You know.
and I don't mind the beans that they have
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Haricot beans.
Yeah, that's cool.
Anyway, so lots of stuff here.
Yeah.
This is left over from the last circumnavigation.
Oh, yeah,
Still
that's
good
cool.
to go.
Yeah.
Tinned bread.
Tinned bread.
Yeah, it's good for 20 years.
20
Falcon
years.
Brot.
Jeez, where'd you get that from?
Falcon Brot from.
So is it like crisp bread or dried bread or what is it?
It's like pumpernickel,
Oh, yeah.
and it's sort of in a block, and it's all sliced.
Yeah.
So I've got Falcon Brot and
So did you get that
pumpernickel.
here?
It was from Life Elise,
Yeah.
who provide freeze dried and
Tinned
sterilised
bread.
food.
Okay. That's cool.
Tinned bread.
Yep.
And of course, beans and pork sausages,
Oh,
as you do.
Jeepers,
As
there
you
go.
do.
Perfect. Everything's available.
Everything.
Okay, so up forward, you've got watertight door there for people that haven't seen it before. I remember when you had that made. I just tripped over your internal storm board, which I'll show them in a minute.
Yep. So
watertight door.
we can dog that down. That's beautiful.
Yep.
Nice engine room clock.
Yep.
On the
Perfect.
bulkhead, so
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
what the time is.
Yep. Okay.
There.
And what's up the top there? Just storage and bits.
Storage.
That's
and whatever.
okay.
And there's a dunny there.
Yep.
You can have a look
Okay.
at
So
that.
you got a dunny.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, they know what a dunny looks like. What's it smell like?
No, it's good. It's good. I'm,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
I'm regular.
Plenty of fibre.
I go once a week whether I need to or not.
That's good. Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
So that's just a bit of timber, so I can turn
Oh, look
this
at this. Look
table.
at this. Look at that. Look
What's
at that? Ooh, jeepers. You are very cool, Mr. Coconut.
Oh,
Would you
yeah.
like to explain what this is?
Oh, this is my deviation table, which
Yeah.
is the difference between magnetic north and compass north.
Yes.
So I ran all the transits in and out of Port Adelaide, and so they're on the chart, you know, and I'd be on the line and I'd carefully check my heading, and I plotted it all out. So you can see I've got a lubber's line error of 3
beautiful.
degrees west,
Yep.
but it's quite symmetrical
So
around
beautiful.
it.
Yes.
So and there it is. And I've got a little table here, but it's
Everyone
quite
understands
big,
all
up
of
to-
this.
Up to 7 degrees. On top of that, you got your variation.
Yes.
So you know, compass. Can dead men vote twice? Or,
Yes.
Or,
No. Cup of tea.
Cadbury's dairy milk, very tasty.
Oh, okay.
Is
No,
yellow-
I use cup of tea. Compass to true, easily add. True to compass, easily subtract.
Okay.
Everyone will be totally bored with that unless they're sailors. But I've got to say, every entrant has one of these cards on their boat. Absolutely.
I bet.
I bet. And the reason Mark has is because you're a retired naval commander in survey department. So
I love
you're
this
a
shit.
navigator.
That's
right. You absolutely love this stuff. And you got the best sextant. Mark is the master navigator of the fleet. It's quite impressive. Been helping a lot of people with their navigation issues, but I'm certain all the GGR guys can navigate now. This is a little innovation which I've tripped over twice, which is a really cool idea. It's a storm board down below here, boom.
Yeah.
So a wave breaks here in the cockpit, floods over into the galley, and it stays here.
Yeah. So it separates my bilges, and it try and has that as a wet area, and this is a dry area.
Yeah.
I'll just hang up on that.
Yeah, this is national live international TV, Mark. Come on. Give it a bit of respect. Jeepers.
Sorry.
Are you taking that one on the race? That one's going on the race as well. See?
No, it gets sealed in a bag.
Yeah.
So that'll get.
Don't look embarrassed. You can own that.
Well, it's no good to me anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And up here we've got we've got our beautiful gold-plated entrance plaque from 2018.
Yeah.
Looking a little bit worse for wear, but it's been around the world.
That's right. It's got a bit of patina.
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
went on in Adelaide.
Yeah.
After I did my Chichester stop,
Yeah,
and it was on for the rounding
It's
of Cape
amazing.
Horn.
Each one of those plates costs us about €500 to produce. You know,
I bet it did.
You would think it would last a lot better than that.
Well,
It
the
was made
gold
in China.
plating,
Yeah. Anyway, but patina is a good thing. You know, it tells a story. So you got your head knockers on your bolts there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little
Yeah,
foam
they're good.
pads. Yeah.
There's a little. Sorry, it's Phil's hat there.
Yeah.
Coconut staff
Yeah.
here. That was on Australia 2 for the America's Cup win.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was from Kingsley.
That's cool. Yeah.
A real trick with these to save them going in the bilge,
Yeah.
some birthday cards, is turn it around like that
Yeah.
and have the clip on there.
Oh, beautiful. Man with experience here. Man with experience.
No
Yes.
magnets, no magnets.
No
It's
magnets.
down near the compass.
Oh, so that's just to remind the crew that put no magnets in there. Yeah, really good. I like that. Have you got a tattoo with your name on your arm? You know, just so you can remember who you are.
It's like riding remote control on your remote control, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really?
exactly. Something like that. So, and the fine print. What's the bloody fine print here? This one.
Oh, that's my garbage plan.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right, yep.
Yeah.
And that's my thing. And there's my Yachtmaster Ocean and Offshore.
Oh, so you really can navigate.
So 1984 on that one and 1985 on that one.
I
Yachtmaster
got mine
Ocean.
before yours.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, there you
but I never got a plaque like that. Where'd you get that from?
They
should have a copy
They're a
of
little
mine.
book. They're a little book.
No, I've got the blue book, but I'm not sure whether it's in China or Australia or Hobart.
So what I did, I just opened it and scanned it, and
Yeah.
I've put that together.
No, I've
and
got it
laminated
somewhere. Jane doesn't know where it is. I'm going to have to ask for another copy. I got mine in '83. I
Yeah.
got Master Offshore and Ocean. Yeah.
Was that with Ian Puller?
No, it was with Alistair Mitchell.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Long
of
story.
course, that's a good thing.
Yes.
Everyone should take
What's
note of
that? A collision at sea can ruin your whole day. Don't tell Tommy. Jeepers, Mark. How could you put... Tommy's a mate of yours, you know. Jeepers, wait till I tell him. Anyway, okay. Well, that's really good, eh? So what's that, your grog? Down there?
Grog's in here. This is just some bottled water.
Sparkling water,
Sparkling water, just to drag it out. Make sure
perfect.
it's out.
Chart table. That's
so-
a quarter berth full of stuff, right?
Yeah,
So
I've
you
got
don't
the
use
fuel
it.
tank down there.
Yeah.
I've got the engine controls here. I've got my Echo Max, so I can show you that. Radar here, Echo Max on, and we do that, and you'll go
Beep, beep, beep. It's not working. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Okay, you'll get used to that sound.
And we've also got our VHF here,
Uh-oh.
and that's the VHF
Yeah.
AIS alarm
Yep, down there.
from there.
Yeah.
Fine. And then I've got my portable AIS here, which is a Nomad that goes on a wandering aerial, which is fine.
Okay, it's all there.
Yep.
Okay, people are getting bored now. I think
No,
we
they're
need to
not.
go.
They're getting excited.
Well, what do you want to talk about? Anything you want to
What else?
say? See, I told you.
Oh, here we go. Now look at this. This is neat.
He's always good for a conversation.
This is my last trip on one piece of paper,
Yeah.
and this is
This
been
is
around
epic.
the world. So
Okay.
every cross is a week.
Yeah.
So 1 week, 1 week, 1 week, 1 week around we go. And
Can't
across
see it.
there.
Oh, drag it back a bit. That's it. Yeah, drag it back a bit. That's it. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so then you started to get barnacles and slow down, and then you
Across
got to
there.
turn the page.
And then we went into Adelaide,
Yeah.
and then we went in up here,
Yeah.
and then 3 years later to the day we set off again.
Yeah.
And came down under Tassie, went up to the
Yeah.
Kingston Gate, under Stewart Island, and then across here, ducked down once we did the rounding mark here, and then came south because there was a big low. And I
Hurry
went
up, you got
south.
3 minutes. We can't go past 30 minutes or we explode. I turn into a pumpkin.
Okay, and then round the famous Cape Horn, and Sir Robin just presented me with my Burgee, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Ran it up for me, and then back up the long haul back up the South Atlantic, a long bloody way, and around the Azores High, and then home.
Okay, I hate to tell you this. You're going to do it again.
Apparently, here's my
deck watch.
deck watch.
Harrison.
Hamilton, and
Hamilton, rather.
you can see he's due to wind it
I
up.
nearly had one of them once from Maury Bellman's back in Adelaide. I started sailing with a retired US Navy commander, and he had a Harrison deck watch and a
Sarah,
big one.
was it?
Yes, Surrey.
Sorry.
Yeah. But anyway, that's a long story. He was a great guy.
Yeah, there we go. Oh,
Okay.
look, no, it's something
There's
really
more?
important, really
Hurry up,
important.
you've only got
So-
1 minute and 5 seconds. No,
When I do my
28
Astro,
minutes. Yeah.
I run this little officer watch notebook,
Oh, jeepers.
and I run my
That's
Astro
interesting.
here,
Yeah.
and so I can always go back
Yeah.
to a site.
Yeah.
So on this date, Saturday the 8th of January 22,
Yeah.
14:04:14, it was 25:49.3.
Yes.
And my log reading was 53.2. But you see that little tick there. So
Yes,
what
I
I
can see that little tick there.
Right, and
this is about exciting as learning about Abolish's
No,
waterline extenders.
Everyone has a little tick. So what it means is I do the
Everyone's got a
time,
little tick.
I do the observation. I check the observation, I give it a tick. I then look at the time, it should be about a minute past when it was observed, give it a tick. So no transcription errors.
Yeah.
And so I've got all the source data. So that one was a really rough day, and I've taken 3 sites and averaged them. In general, I only take one. Always a log reading.
Yeah.
But it means I can always go back to it. If there's an error, I go back
yeah.
to the source data.
Yeah.
Everything's got a tick.
That's good.
So it's
yeah.
self-checking.
You know what Pat does?
What does he
When
do?
he's finished with that, he puts it in the fire to light the fire.
No,
He does, because they got to use paper, they got the thing, but once it's done, he knows he's got to give us the logs at the end of the trip, so it's all cool.
Yeah, so no, I always run that, and then I transcribe the thing into the
Yeah.
log and work it out.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. We've got 45 seconds left, so
We've got one more chronometer here.
stand by for Mark's phone calls. It's going to be more of the same. Oh, you haven't got much loaded. Oh, the clock's going, Mark. Jeepers.
Here we go. This is a
look at
Waltham 1904 8-day chronometer.
Yeah.
So it's 118 years old.
Yeah.
It got demolished in Cape Horn and throughout.
On this recent trip around Cape
That's
Horn,
right. Yeah. And so I remounted it in the gimbals, and she's good as new.
Yeah, fantastic.
So they made stuff good in those days.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there
When
we
were
go.
you born?
58.
Oh, they did it okay in those days too. Don't feel too bad about it, Mark. Jeepers, you're younger than me.
Yeah.
Holy dooly, I'm feeling bad.
I've had a hard life.
Oh, yeah, exactly. All right, well, that's fun, because I'm from Adelaide too. People forget about that. I was born in Adelaide, same as Coconut. And,
Well, no, I was actually born. I live in Adelaide.
oh, of course,
I was
yeah,
born
you're born in England.
Manchester.
Ah, you're a fraud. Bloody pom.
I'm a United supporter.
Sheepers. Okay, people are getting sick of this. I think it's time to go. I got to hit this button here. See, I really am
I'm
here.
an Aussie, though.
Yeah, you're an Aussie. Okay, that's enough. Goodbye, Mark. Thank you.
See you
Fantastic.
later.
Au revoir.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
Dom.